The land is in a county you have never lived in. The apartment is in a city you may leave. Both decisions were made in a single year. The same savings account, the same 34-year-old woman, the same spreadsheet open on a Tuesday evening. She chose. She went home and did not tell anyone what she had chosen. And now it is 20 years later, and the two paths look nothing like the brochures. You are 33, maybe 35. You have saved more than most people your age, and you have not told anyone that, because the conversation always ends the same way, with advice you did not ask for, and a number they assume is smaller than it is. You have been reading about land, not the dramatic kind, not farmland empires, not subdivisions, not anything that requires a contractor's license. Just raw land, a parcel in a county 2 hours from a city. Timber, maybe. Or nothing, just the deed, the perimeter, the quiet legal fact of ownership. And you have been reading about apartments, a studio in the city where you work, or the city where you think you will stay, though you are not entirely certain of that. A mortgage that is slightly higher than your rent. A down payment that is almost exactly what you have saved. A set of keys. A mailbox with your name on it. You have done the math. You have done it more than once. In fact, in the Notes app on your phone at 11 p.m, on a napkin at the back of a coffee shop, in a spreadsheet that has 17 tabs and 2 of them labeled worst case. The math does not decide. The math has never decided. Because the math assumes a stable life. It assumes the city stays your city. It assumes the job stays your job. It assumes the version of yourself at 33 is close enough to the version at 43, that the same decision serves both. Sometimes that is true. Sometimes it is not. The rule, the first one, is this. The math tells you what is possible, not what is true. What is true requires the longer view. And the longer view is what this is. There is a question beneath the question. You think you are deciding between 2 assets. You are not. You are deciding between 2 relationships with time. Land does not generate income while it waits. Land does not call you when the roof leaks. Land does not ask you to be anywhere. Land asks almost nothing of you, and gives almost nothing back, for years. The apartment is the opposite. The apartment is a monthly claim on your attention, your income, your flexibility, and your geography. It asks everything of you immediately. It begins paying you back, or costing you, almost at once. Neither of these is superior. They are different instruments for a different theory of how a life compounds. The rule, the second one, is this. Liquidity is a form of freedom, and freedom is a form of cost. You will not believe this yet. That is fine. She is 34 when she buys the land, 12 acres, in a county that does not make the news. The price is $38,000. She pays cash, money that took her 6 years to accumulate, sitting in a savings account that earned almost nothing. She drives out once, in November, and walks the perimeter. It takes 40 minutes. There is no structure. There is no view worth photographing. There is a creek that dries up by July, and a stand of loblolly pine that will not be ready to harvest for another 30 years. She drives back in the dark. She does not feel rich. She does not feel anything. Exactly. She feels the particular blankness of a decision that will not resolve for a very long time. And then, she is 34 when the other woman buys the apartment. The price is $187,000. She puts down $37,000, nearly the same amount, nearly the same savings account. She gets the keys on a Friday and walks through the empty rooms, which smell like paint. She feels something. She feels arrived. She texts 3 people. The feeling lasts about 10 days, and then the mortgage begins. By 37, the woman with the apartment has done the following: replaced the water heater, paid for a repair to the exterior wall that turned out to be minor, and cost $2,300 anyway. Refinanced once when the rate dropped, saving $180 a month. Rented it for 11 months when her job moved her to another city, at a rate that covered the mortgage and nothing else. The apartment has not grown in value in any meaningful way. The market in her city stalled. She is not underwater, she is level. She is not where she thought she would be at 37, and she knows it. And she does not talk about it, because talking about it would require explaining why she bought in a city she is no longer certain she belongs to. And then, by 37, the woman with the land has done the following: paid property taxes, $340 a year, gone out once more, in spring, when the creek was running, taken no action, made no decision. The land does not know she owns it. The land does not care. The land has not grown in value in any meaningful way either. It is listed at $44,000 now. If she looks it up, and she sometimes does, briefly, the way you check a thing you are trying not to be anxious about, she is level 2. She is also not where she thought she would be. But she is liquid. She has built back most of what she spent. She has no mortgage. She has no claim on her time from the 12 acres. She has options she has not yet used. And then, they are both 40. And the decade is about to turn strange in the particular way decades do. The woman with the apartment gets an offer at 41. A job in another city. The kind of offer that comes once. The salary is 40% higher. The work is better. The city is warmer. She does the math. The math says, you can rent the apartment. The math says, the rental income covers roughly 70% of the mortgage. The math says, you will be a landlord in a city you no longer live in, managing a property from a distance, which is a job no one told you was included in the original purchase. She takes the job anyway. She finds a property manager. The property manager costs 8% of rent. The tenants are fine, until they are not. At 43, she has a vacancy for 4 months, and the 4 months cost her $7,200 in carrying costs, and one very long winter of quiet financial stress she does not name out loud. She is not ruined, she is constrained. And then, the woman with the land gets the same kind of offer at 41. Same city, same kind of once. She does the math too. The math says, you own 12 acres that require nothing of you. The math says, property taxes on land this size are $340 a year. The math says, you can leave. She leaves. She rents in the new city for the first 2 years, not because she cannot buy, but because she does not yet know which neighborhood she will want to stay in. She takes her time. She buys well. At 43, when she knows, the land still sits in its county, unbothered. She is not managing it from a distance. She is not losing sleep over a vacancy. She is present in her new life in a way that the other woman, for a while, cannot quite be. At 45, the woman with the apartment has built real equity. The market recovered. The property is worth $260,000 now. She owes $141,000. Her net equity is roughly $119,000 after 2 refinances, 1 extended vacancy, and 14 years of payments. She is not disappointed. She is not triumphant. She is honest. The equity is real. And the decade was harder than the brochure suggested. At 45, the woman with the land has held an asset that is now worth $71,000. She never borrowed against it. She never took income from it. She spent, across 20 years, roughly $6,800 in property taxes and occasional survey fees. Her net gain is approximately $26,200. The numbers say, the apartment won. The numbers are correct. The numbers are also not the whole story. The rule, the third one, is this. The return on capital is measurable, but the return on flexibility is not. The woman with the land changed cities twice, took a better job both times, built a retirement account that is substantially larger than it would have been had she been servicing a mortgage through her late 30s. Bought, eventually, a property she chose slowly, in a place she had decided to stay. The apartment woman built equity earlier. She also spent a decade partly tethered, partly managing a problem from a distance, partly unable to move cleanly when the right thing required movement. Neither of them was wrong, but they lived different lives, and the lives are the point. She goes back at 50. The loblolly pine is not ready. It will not be ready for another 10 years, but the parcel has been rezoned. The county grew in an unexpected direction. A road was added 8 years ago. A small developer has approached her twice. She does not sell. Not yet. She stands at the tree line and does the thing she has not done since she was 34. She walks the perimeter. It takes the same 40 minutes. The creek is dry, as it usually is in August. The pines are taller than she remembered, which she expected, though she did not expect to feel the particular thing she feels, which is not pride. Exactly, but a kind of quiet confirmation. The land held. The land waited. The land was patient in a way she had to learn to be, and the patience cost her something. Years of low return. Years of watching the apartment women outpace her on paper, and the patience also gave her something the apartment did not. What it cost was not money. Here is what the 2-decade view shows that the 5-year view cannot. The apartment builds equity faster in stable markets. It also builds obligation faster. It commits your geography, your attention, your cash flow, and your willingness to be a landlord in the event your life moves before your property does. The land builds nothing for a long time, and then, in the right county, in the right decade, with the right patience, it builds something that no mortgage servicer can call in. But this is not an argument for land, and it is not an argument for the apartment. It is an argument for knowing which one you are buying. Because most people who buy the apartment believe they are buying security. And they are. But the security is conditional on staying, on the market recovering, on not needing to move before they are ready. And most people who buy the land believe they are buying freedom. And they are. But the freedom is conditional on having the liquidity to fund everything else while the land waits, on having the patience to hold an asset that does not pay you back for a decade, on being willing to feel for several years. Like you made the quiet decision that no one around you understands. I held raw land for 11 years before it became relevant. I know what those 11 years feel like from the inside. The feeling is not what the proponents of land describe. It is more patient and more lonely than that. On the apartment, I have seen what it costs people who bought when the market was high and the life was still forming. The equity was real. So was the constraint. So was the particular tiredness of managing an asset from a distance while trying to build something new somewhere else. The maintenance calls at inconvenient hours. The annual insurance reviews. The low background noise of a financial obligation that follows you to the new city like unfinished correspondence. Both are true. Both have always been true. The question was never which one was better. The question was, which one was built for the life you were actually going to live? not the life you planned in the year you were 33. The rule, the first one, was this. The math tells you what is possible, not what is true. The rule, the last one, is this. The asset that matches your life's shape is worth more than the asset with the better return. A woman who knows she will stay in one city for 20 years and wants to build equity in that city. The apartment is the correct instrument. It builds wealth in the place her life is rooted. It is the right tool for a life with deep roots. A woman who does not yet know her geography, whose career is still forming, whose city is still a hypothesis. The apartment is an expensive bet on a life she has not yet confirmed. The land asks nothing of her while she finds out. Neither of these is wisdom. Both of these are math. Once you expand the spreadsheet far enough, the real question is simpler and harder than any calculation. It is, how certain are you of where you are going? If the answer is certain, buy the apartment, build there, stay. If the answer is not yet, the land may be the quieter decision, not the more profitable one, the one that does not close doors you have not yet opened. She was right. The woman who chose land, not because land always wins, but because she knew herself well enough to know she was not done moving. She was right. The woman who chose the apartment, not because apartments always win, but because she had decided, and she stayed, and the staying was the whole point. Both of them knew when they chose. Most people do. Most people just choose faster than the knowing is ready. The land is still in the county she has never lived in. She does not need to live in it. That was never the arrangement. The arrangement was patience. Her patience in exchange for the land's patience. A decades-long agreement between a woman and a parcel of earth that neither of them made a sound about. The apartment is in the city she stayed in, or the city she left, or the city she rented out for 4 months in a winter she does not revisit in detail. Both of them are older now. Both assets have done what assets do. Grown, waited, demanded, returned. And the woman with the notebook? The one who made the decision on a Tuesday evening with a spreadsheet open and no one watching. She closed the laptop eventually. She went to bed. The math was still open in the other tab. She did not go back to it. The math was never going to close the question. Only time closes the question, and time requires that you begin. The rule, the first one, is still this. The math tells you what is possible, not what is true. And what is true is that you will not know. Not for 10 years, not for 15. Whether the decision you made tonight was the right one. But you will know that you made it with your eyes open. And that is the only part you control. If this found you at the right time, you know what to do.